2024, May 3rd, Friday. Face up to Trump. Ruling bloc should meet with Trump to widen bipartisan network in Washington. Former U.S. President Donald Trump suggested that should he be re-elected, the U.S. could withdraw its forces from South Korea if it does not pay more to support U.S. troops stationed here. I want South Korea to treat us properly. As you know, I got them too. I had negotiations because they were paying virtually nothing for 40,000 troops that we had there, the presumptive Republican presidential nominee said in a recent interview with Time magazine. The number is actually 28,500. We have 40,000 troops and in a somewhat precarious position, to put it mildly, because right next door happens to be a man I got along with very well, but a man who nevertheless has got visions of things. Trump said he had told Seoul that it was time to pay more for the upkeep of U.S. versus Korea because it has become a very wealthy country, and South Korea had agreed to pay billions of dollars. South Korea is paying over 1 trillion won, $727 million per year for the upkeep of U.S. versus Korea. Trump, however, continued to make untrue claims that it is paying almost nothing. They are paying very little. From what I'm hearing, they were able to renegotiate with the Biden administration and bring that number way down to what it was before, which was almost nothing, he said, which doesn't make any sense. Why would we depend somebody? And we were talking about the very wealthy country. They were a pleasure to deal with, not easy initially, but ultimately they became a pleasure to deal with, and they agreed to pay billions of dollars to the U.S. for our military being there, billions, many billions. Since 1991, Seoul has partially shared the cost for Korean workers for U.S. versus Korea. The construction of military installations such as barracks and training, educational, operational, and communication facilities, as well as other logistical support. While it has been widely expected that Trump would stick to his previous policy on pushing Seoul to pay more for the upkeep of U.S. forces here, it was the first time he brought up the topic on his re-election campaign, and it is disconcerting that he thinks of all of America's relationships with its allies as strictly transactional. He has little or no regard for the strategic value, let alone sharing such values as freedom and democracy. Seoul and Washington just held their first round of negotiations in Honolulu last week for a new special measures agreement over South Korea's share of the cost for the upkeep of the U.S. versus Korea. Observers have said that the allies sought to hold SMA talks earlier than usual due to concerns that should former Trump return to the White House for a second term, he could strike a top deal for a new SMA in a way that could cause friction in the alliance. During Trump's presidency, the SMA negotiation was a major point of contention, as he demanded South Korea increase its payments 5 to 6-fold. He also talked about reducing the number of U.S. troops here, but ultimately was stopped by his aides. Even if Seoul and Washington managed to reach an agreement within this year, Trump could always demand a renegotiation should he return to the White House. The South Korean government should strategize against all possible scenarios. The two sides should work on ways to block the possible unsettling of the foundation of the alliance, regardless of whoever wins the U.S. presidential election in November. Members of the South Korean ruling bloc should meet with Trump or his key aides as part of efforts to widen its bipartisan network in Washington. Former Japanese Prime Minister Taro Aso, a senior figure in the country's governing party, met with Trump just last week, just 2 weeks after Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida's visit to the U.S. Trump's re-election would mean major challenges not just on the diplomatic and security front, but also in global trade. He said in the interview with Time that he would implement at least a 10% tariff on all imports and more than 60% on Chinese imports. The Seoul government must prepare against such possibilities.